Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. I want to thank all pro pastors and Paul Pickern for hosting this unbelievably important Central Florida Leadership Prayer Breakfast. I wish I could be there, but there's just so many things happening in Arizona here, and it was hard just to get to Florida. As many of you know, we run Turning Point USA, and we have our new project, TPUSA Faith, where we have hundreds of churches and pastors that are gathering together to fight for liberty. I grew up in the church. In 5th grade, I gave my life to the Lord, most important decision I made, and Jesus Christ has been the chairman of the board of my life ever since. So everything I do is about fighting for liberty, but the most important thing is my faith and my belief in Jesus Christ. The second most important thing is to make sure I could talk about the first thing. If we do not understand the importance of religious liberty and freedom, we are all going to be sharing our religious and theological differences from prison. And so what I'm trying to do is to fight for the commandment of Jeremiah 29:7, which is demand the welfare of the city that you are in, because your welfare is tied to your city's welfare, or it could also be exchanged for your nation's welfare. As we've seen over the last couple years, lockdowns, petty totalitarianism, mask mandates, the persecution of religious liberty, if we as a church do not stand and fight for liberty, which is not man's idea, it is God's idea, then we are going to be telling our kids and grandkids that we once lived in a free country. I want to be very clear, though. The most important thing you do as a pastor is to spread the gospel. I'm not saying that the fight that I'm doing is more important. What I am saying, though, is at times it can be a prerequisite to do the most important thing. That if you don't care about this at all, then spreading the gospel and even financing the gospel internationally can become very difficult. I believe we're commanded to be good stewards. We are inheritors of this beautiful nation, the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world. I believe we're biblically commanded to care for our fellow neighbor. And if we do not have concern for the direction of our country, I think we're turning our back on the amazing accomplishments and, quite honestly, the divine intervention that helped create America to be the free country that it is. And so I want to talk a little bit also about the separation of church and state. This is nowhere in the United States Constitution. In fact, this was in a single letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Convention. And in fact, he was trying to ease the fears of this particular group, saying that the government will never come after you, not the other way that it's framed by the Warren Court and the Burger Court as it's been done by secular courts in recent years. And instead, we should say, wait a second, why is the state able to come after the church? Why was the state able to lock us down? You see, we as Christians, I believe, are called to be counselors to the king, same as Daniel, Jeremiah, Mordecai, Esther, Nehemiah. The king right now needs a counselor, and the king being we the people. You see, we the people are sovereign. We do not have the divine right of kings in this country, thanks to the brilliance of the American founding fathers. And so my final call to you is for the church to influence American culture. We can't sit idly by. And look, this is not about politics. I have plenty of political opinions. You can listen to my podcast or you can ask me about them. This is about right and wrong. This is about liberty. It's about freedom. You must get involved at a fundamental level around elections, around virtue, around civic engagement, around the fight for the unborn, around our constitutional rights. It's so incredibly important. Western civilization was built by Christians, and we live in Western civilization today, and it's under attack from within. So my challenge for you is to stay engaged and stay involved, to get into the grassroots and get into the trenches. Make yourself a little uncomfortable at times. That might mean you have to volunteer for a campaign. Go vote, register to vote. You guys can also check out our website, tpfaith.com, and the wonderful work our team is doing at TPUSA Faith. And it's time for Christians to stand up and get involved. Remember, the most important thing is to spread the gospel. The second most important thing is to make sure you could do the first thing. So God bless you guys. Keep fighting for freedom. And now I'm going to send it back to Pastor John.